Though I did want to just do a really quick like coverage of some of the Japanese events that have been happening. There we go. Yeah, Jackie came into the DC1 Grand Prix in Malaysia and just like, I really just came for the coffee and then just won. That's like the second time he's done that. He just like, I'm going to the event for shits and giggles and then he just wins it. And it's happened 2 times in the same season, so it's hard to call it a fluke, you know, if it's happened twice. Japan has been having their area qualifiers. So we've talked about this on the channel before, and I've also done an entire video covering the tournament season for all of the regions of the game. But for the folks who are still uninitiated or just missed those, if you haven't watched those videos on the channel, I definitely recommend you take a look. It gives you a really good idea of like how what everyone's road to qualification looks like, because it is very different depending on the region. But Japan has like it's like a multi-tournament system where you have to go to like a level 1 area qualifier, and if you win that event, you get access to a level 2 or higher qualifier, or level 2 qualifier. And then if you get past the level 2 qualifier or you win that, then you go to the Japan finals. Now, the area 1 qualifier, anyone can enter. The area 2 qualifiers, only the people who won the level 1 qualifiers can enter that. So it's like the tournament of champions, and then from there you go to the finals for Japan. And then the winner of the top 4, I think, or top 6, I don't remember the exact number, for the Japan finals go to Worlds later next year. And Japan had their Area 1 qualifiers in the last set, not BG23, but like a couple months before, about a month before. And now they've started up their Area 2 qualifiers. So everyone who wins now or gets top 4 goes to the Japan finals. There's been some really interesting things. I think that one of the, results that I was expecting was just a ton of Hudieimon, and that's not been the case. So if you're a Hudie hater out there, then this might surprise you. The first one was actually won by Mastemon. It was actually Myotis Loop. So for all the hating, I can hate no longer. Myotis Loop, a real deck. When you just chuck 4 digital gates open in that bitch, it just works. Really cool. He's got 1 fire rocket in this deck, and the idea is actually ingenious, because what happens is if you're planning to go up against Hudieimon, the guy actually tweeted at me and like specifically like told me why this was the case, because someone in my comments asked this question. He was like, in the case that someone playing Hudieimon has a Venusmon on the field, you still win with Fire Rocket. If you don't have a way to get Sec +1, which nothing in the deck has, then Venusmon actually locks you out of the game for a turn. Yeah, the Fire Rocket is solely for, you see Venusmon who Sec minus is 1 you, and then you basically Sec +1, so you close the gap, and then you just get the win. You can ignore Venusmon entirely. You don't need any effects. You can just attack and win the game. Pretty clever, actually. This fella knew what he was going up against. He's like, I know what the field looks like, and I'm going to fight against it. So nice little tech there, especially when you're... I think that most of the time... To be honest, do you really see the Venusmon, though? If Belial just comes down, I don't know. That was one thing I wondered about, where, like, if Belial just comes down with it on play, she can't stop that, so she just gets yeeted. But maybe if you have something on the board already. Not sure. Evening. Second place was actually won by one of my favorite decks, version 2, but this time not featuring Mastemon. It was featuring the Lynx Dragons cards, which kind of makes sense, right? You can use the level 3s, 4s, and 5s to get to Evademon, and after that, you can just start like swapping Volcanic Dramon and Metallic Dramon to just lock them out of the game. So that was pretty cool. Running double Analog Youth is also kind of crazy. I wonder why. One of the things I feel like I have a problem with is whenever I run Lynx Dragon stuff, I think, okay, great, I get the first dragon out, but then what? Like if they survive the turn and I can't win, I feel like my next turn is a little bit awkward. Yeah, Volcanic Dramon also just says no to Hootie. Metallic Dramon to some degree as well, though Hootie itself just gets over that, and if they have any like DP buffs, then it's a little bit harder, but you get the idea. Let's see, next one was won by, third place was actually Hudieimon. And it's a build that you're probably not surprised to see. It seems like some people are opting to go with the 1 copy of the Ryuji. I think that a lot of the Singapore guys, when they were running it, Slick in particular was running like 1 Ryuji and then like a couple of options. This one just runs no option. It's just the Ryuji for the reboot blocker, I suppose, just to give you like 1 form of defense. And then the fourth place was also Hudieimon, as you'd expect. I hate that they separate the artworks. I just put them all together, man. Come on. Why do we have to do this? I got the 1 good Chitose and the 1 good Erica. We know it's for, man. Come on. Oh, yeah, that's right. Ryuji does counter the DP minus. Yeah, I forgot he also gives DP minus protection for a turn. So I guess in the case that you're fighting against, your brethren out there, your butterfly brethren, then you've got a way to answer their board, or at least an attack, and keep something on the board for the win. But yeah, not really anything surprising, I think. Crimson Blaze is starting to become a lot more popular. It's hard to say that a staple option card is becoming more popular, considering it's never been unpopular, but you get what I mean. I'm starting to see it pop up in a lot more decks. So that was the first qualifier for this. I don't even know how to read this area. The second one, I think we mentioned this in the meta report for last week, and it was won by Bogar Army. I tried to tell y'all. Bogar Army really out here. It's got a little bit of the hunter stuff in the mix, so you take a look at the Shoutmon King version, 2 of these guys, just as a way to be able to put something down on the board, then get a U-Tamer, and also have the ability to immediately get value off the Digimon on board, right? So a lot of the cases you're playing this deck, if you just have like a U in hand and no way to play him for free, which for this deck is pretty much non-existent, almost anyway. But like your turn 1, it's almost always like just drop U. In this case, you can actually do some shenanigans where you just like Digicross the King version, you drop the U, and then when the King version leaves the field, you immediately get 2 cards underneath him, which is kind of nice. It's also got a couple copies of the Taigiru in here. It's a little bit less than I've seen in other decks, but I mean, if you're trying to run a more Bogar-centric deck, this is probably a really good split. The thing is, if you try to run the Taigiru without the King version, he kind of just becomes a brick underneath your Tamers, which can be problematic, so just keep that in mind. Tax season indeed. April is coming. It's the end of the year. I also like the 2 copies of the Psychemon, just in cases where most of the decks are going to be using Blastmon to make some swings if possible, and also take turns. If you can keep a Psychemon up underneath him, then because he also has collision, you can just punch twice. Oh, sorry, not punch twice, but you can also like check 2 security once you delete something with his attack. I'm kind of surprised to see the Chikurimon. This thing is expensive at 4. It only gives you 1 Bogar card, whereas the Choo-Choo-Mon gives you 1 Bogar Army and the U-Tamer. I was kind of surprised to see him over, I guess, anything else really. But this deck in particular just is really high on level 3s. I think the list that I run only has like 8. This one has 14. Jesus Christ. But I guess they cut all the fluff. Like I've got some heinous shit at the top end, like Dexmon in case they go wide, or Deathexmon in English, you get what I mean. 1 copy of Shine Greymon Ruin Mode because, yeah, screw you guys. But yeah, this is like, he cuts all the fluff. And even runs a couple more of these U and Nene Tamers. That was first place, by the way, which I think even the Japanese players were like, what the hell? And second place was, I thought this was a hard matchup. Second place was taken by Royal Knights. This is a pretty basic Royal Knights build. I think since BT23's come along, some of the BT23 staple cards and like the Gallantmon, the Craniumon for sure. This list also runs a copy of the Ganku, who plays a token similar to Jesmon, and also deletes something, and also the Dynasmon for those blankets. No big control tools like we've seen in China before. Actually, we'll take a look at it in this tournament. And then third place was Hudiemon. All right. Not first, but they're still like doing quite well. And then last place was, this is I think was this Misao? Yeah, this was Misao. We featured a lot of Misao's lists on the channel before, and he wasn't the person who invented this, but he basically like took it to a big event, like right before it was discovered, which is the version of Mastemon that uses like the dark animals and the K Tamer card, which is actually pretty terrifying. There's a really interesting video that the Map Digimon channel, I think, put out, and they took an idea from a guy named Waisuke in Japan who wrote like an entire like blog article about this. And yeah, this deck is terrifying actually. It with just like the simplest of setups, you can just like spawn 3 Mastemons in a turn. It's just like, it's cool. Okay, guess I'll die. But yeah, the Dark Animal Engine, very powerful, alongside this nice little Impmon fella here who just plays Tamers for free, so you can keep replaying the K-Tamer. Those happened, I believe, last weekend? Yeah, alongside these results too. This one was Gallantmon, which I don't think it surprises anybody. Gallantmon's still quite strong. Pretty basic Gallantmon build, although this one does focus a little bit more on some of the purple cards, actually most of the purple cards. No X-Antibody, like, cool boy stuff in here, just like red, purple, mill stuff. Followed by Beelzemon, which, oh wow, color me surprised. Kurova brought K-Master to DC1. I'm not surprised, actually. I know he was talking about it on Twitter. He's like, this deck has potential. If there's someone I trust to do crime with a pile of 50 cards, it's that guy. Yeah, of course, third place. It's like Hudiemon is like the third place deck. It really feels that way. Oh, this one running Vikemon instead of the Venusmon. Interesting choice. I guess they keep an ace in the back pocket, and then you've got the Ryuji as a way to like protect your level 5 for return, so that you can get you can like guarantee the ace comes down. And then 4th place was also Hudiemon here. Yeah, this one's actually pretty straightforward. It feels like every list of Hudiemon runs one really good old option. So this one runs 2 in like the Hidden Potential Discovered and the Sakosho, or Blinding Ray in English. Whereas the other ones are running like, yeah, Hidden Potential Discovered, Ice Wall. Ice Wall I think got really popular after the Thailand DC one, where they, that was like the first big Hudie event that the deck won. Now I think all of those were last weekend, and then we had this weekend, like literally just finished. Oh my god. Stark reminder, if you don't have gray hairs or you're not bald, don't let me catch you playing this card. Barbamon is for the grown folks. I don't care how much you like it. If you ain't been through some shit, you can't use that card. That's the rule. Yeah, this weekend. All right, so this weekend we had unfortunate. No, I'm just kidding. Royal Knights, outside of the Malaysia event, Royal Knights actually did really well. They won an event with 4 copies of the Keenan Krier. So it seems like some of those control tools are being noticed from the Chinese events by the Japanese players. 1 copy of the Digital Gate Open is kind of strange. I think maybe they wanted to use this as a stand-in, these two. Maybe they just didn't have enough copies, I don't know. Although they could just want the memory too, who knows. The Income Tax RK, come on, IRS RK. IRS RK as well, what an acronym. So 1st place was Royal Knights, and then 2nd place was Magneticdramon. Really haven't seen much from this deck in a while, because I don't know if you guys noticed this. There's this like thing that happens where the first best deck is really represented in the game, but the second best deck is rarely represented. It's almost like the dark, it feels like a dark horse, but it's just very good. Yeah, I guess that's a unique, maybe it's a uniquely card game thing, I don't know. I'm not sure if it happens in other esports where like the second best character is like almost never represented despite being the second best character, because no one wants to play second best unless you really just like the archetype itself. What's cool about this list, 2 copies of Kongo. So just like completely freeze Hudie for a turn, or at least nearly freeze them. You really get rid of a lot of their tempo and aggression. 2nd place, or sorry, 3rd place again. The 3rd place, God, Hudiemon. This one actually running the 1 copy of the starter deck Imperialdramon, which is almost as good as the more expensive BT16 version, I think it was, who has partition and stuff. But yeah, usually by the time this guy comes down, the game's over. So yeah, the starter deck one, in my opinion, is just as good if you don't want to splurge on the BT16 one. Also 2 copies of Comet Hammer. I respect it. I respect it. Digivolve, please. And then, woo! Tech the deck. Jesus Christ. Oh, wait a second. It's not text. It's just alternate artworks. Okay. So there's 4 Guillemon X's in here, but 2 of them are alt arts. Yeah, okay. I get it. I get it. I get it. He's got the 1 regular version of the Megalo Growlmon, and then the 1 nice version with the foil border. I hate this. I hate the way they display these. Just show me the regular card art. Bronze Collector Hudie. Jesus. Y'all are fiendish. The 3 copies of Creepymon is cool, so maybe this is more mill focused than anything, considering the red-purple slant of the deck. Man's on Daemon, man's on Creepymon for sure. 2 copies of Medieval. It's still a Medieval or Guillemon deck, so they can't not. Takuto, well, way to go, buddy. Man's name is on brand. And then this one was, I think that was, yeah, okay. And then the last one, which actually was the Tokyo qualifier, was actually won by Hudiemon. So probably one of the more competitive qualifiers out there, was actually won by Hudiemon. So no surprise there. Pretty basic list too. I mean, nothing really out of the ordinary. No Ryujis though, unfortunate. No Ryujis at all. 2nd place, Royal Knights. A little bit of the control action here with 2 copies of the Keenan Krier and 4 copies of Digimon Kaiser. Holy shit. Don't ever let me catch you raising ever. Boo! Oh, come on. Royal Knights players really out here fighting for their lives, man. With as fast as Hudiemon's going, they're trying to like hit the brakes, and they realize like the brake cord is snapped. They're like, well, we're going downhill, boys. 3rd place was, unfortunately, not Hudiemon. It was Omnimon. Oh, wow. This is, wow, only Ty and Matt. Just realized, like, it doesn't run any of the CS stuff. It's like OG. Wow. Okay, cool. Not bad. The Alteresses, of course, you want to see. These for Diaboromons. The BT15 Metal Garurumon is amazing for just freezing stuff for a turn. I get it, yeah. This card is amazing right now, especially considering it can freeze Tamers. So stopping Hudiemon from doing crime at the end of their turn and just like running back to the hand or like the breeding area or playing Tamers, it's kind of nice. Stopping them from doing that anyway. And then the last 4th place was actually another Royal Knight. So yeah, I really thought Royal Knights was kind of down and on its way out, but it doesn't feel like that way anymore. Huh, maybe they just needed like one good showing, and they got it. Well, this one doesn't run any copies of the Ganku or the Gallantmon, for that fact. I guess with Houdier playing from hand, Gallantmon doesn't really do much against them, so makes sense. You got 4 medievals though. There you go. That makes more sense. So yeah, these have been... Oh, is there one more? Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, there's 2 more. Damn. Got a lot of events that have happened this past 2 weeks. Galaxy first place? Wow. Although this one is... Who did this? Was this... Oh, I don't know who this is. Okay. 2 copies of Examon is actually crimey. That's so crimey. Although I guess it doesn't run any of the blue or the red top end stuff, so it doesn't matter. But the fact that it, like, if they wanted to run red, they could just... Yeah. Let me see. Only 2 copies of Hexablaumon, 1 Mirage, 1 Ancient Garurumon is interesting, 1 Invisi as well, and then 3, yeah, Dynas. Huh. And then if the Dyna sticks around, they go into Examon, and he just, your whole board. That's a cool option there. Get rid of it. That's a cool tamer there. Get rid of it. There's a cool Digimon there. Get rid of it. Also, they're all suspended. Screw you. Houdiemon collecting silver this time. Yeah, pretty basic list. Nothing inspiring at all. I think this one's pretty much the same. Only 1 Imperialdramon, which I kind of agree with. I think you really only need 1. I mean, if you hit it on a search, can't be helped, but why only get 1 copy? Why do this to people? I want to make my deck list look as unreadable as possible. I really want to know why folks put the this fella in here. I never understood the reason for putting him in, but maybe better minds. Yeah, Ice Archery is also an interesting one. Preventing something from suspending for a turn. I don't know what that's for, but... And then, whoa, 4th place was Imperialdramon Virus. Psychemon, I respect. I hate Royal Knights too. Imperialdramon, Dinobimon, of course. 1 Gallantmon doesn't seem like a bad idea. 1 Medieval also doesn't seem like a bad idea. The Zenith, I think, has become more commonplace nowadays. 4 Analog Use. 1 Crimson Blaze. 1 Mist Memory Boost is interesting. Okay. Huh. Didn't expect to see the Mist there. Is this tournament? This was a tournament. We haven't taken a look. I've just been going over some of the Japanese area qualifiers that have happened. These were all, like, basically they put a bunch of winners of tournaments into a tournament itself, and they all play for Japan final spots. So in like a 3-tier system, this is like the 2nd tier of events, where the Japan finals will happen right before the World Finals next year. So everyone was basically fighting for those qualifying spots to basically go to what are nationals here in Japan. That's kind of cool. I didn't expect to see Imperialdramon Virus, though. Given what that deck does to stop pretty much every other deck in the game, I'm surprised more folks aren't running it. Though I guess they do need a little bit more speed, eh? And then the last event that happened this past weekend, yeah, this one was won by Royal Knights. So Royal Knights actually still putting up some numbers. The Keenan Career Tech seems to be really catching on. Also, the 4 Kaisers, holy crap, I'm drawing cards forever, brother. Also, don't ever raise. Not a level 3 anyway. Yeah, I mean, Virus Imperial stops a lot of stuff, man. Jesmon just doesn't play anything for free. That makes it really hard if they have nothing else on the board, too. It means they can't, like, cheat out their Jesmon at end of turn by suspending something else. Unless you gave them a bunch of memory to do it. Yeah, the Magenta I thought was more useful, but I feel like a lot of people are saying, like, it doesn't really help the deck that much. Which I thought was kind of weird, but maybe you need to get the cards in the trash, not in your hand. Well, okay, this Houdiemon list, which was 2nd place, actually quite a bit of yeah, I like this. Crescent Leaf is so good. As a revenge kill, or like a revenge hit, when something's already suspended, you just get rid of it. Bottom deck it forever. And Common Hammer, not bad either. This deck seems far more defensively focused than the other Houdiemon lists we've seen. Yeah. Hey, Jesmon. Oh, this is the OTK variant, I think, where they have some really weird splits, where if you take a look, it's like the 3 copies. It's 4 of the Searchers, the new Searchers. 3 of the, like, putting out a Raising, trash a card, and then gain memory and card draw. And then a couple of the older Huckmons who can evolve whenever a Sistermon comes out for free, and they give memory when she's put on the board in Inheritance. They're only running 2 copies. The Bow Huck lets you play something else for like either a Sistermon or a Gankumon for reduced cost. And considering this deck has no Gankumons, it's just solely for the Sistermons. People who are able to run the Sistermon Noir that gives you +1 memory at 1 copy in the deck, I really respect them. They have far bigger balls than I have in order to like make sure they get memory off of this chick. I can't do it. I need at least 2. But yeah, it's got the 1 copy. It's got the Greymons in here for Sec +1 in Inheritances. You've also got the Chimeramon as a way to just like take a level 4 or a Sistermon and then just go into him, slot the Greymon underneath, and then you start doing crime with the Jesmon. Then you've got the Jess X, and you've got the Omni X for game. So very hard hitting, very, very powerful. No Ganku though. If you're a Ganku hater, oh, there's one more, my bad. And the last one was Houdiemon. That's all the. All right, maybe we'll put those in a video at some point. I'll like do a deeper dive and take a look at some of like the more interesting stuff.